This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk through this 2025 Sprinter fifth wheel model 321 ORLS. Okay, so as we start off, you have obviously excuse me, you have two 30-pounders, one on this side, one on the next. And if I can get this open with one hand here, we've got your basement storage here, pass through. Okay. You have TV, you have power plus TV signal out right there. You have two power awnings, one on the door side of the trailer, of course, and then the other one on the slide room. This particular trailer has a auto leveling system, so you have a, let me look under here real quick. You have a 4-point leveling system on it. The controller's on the other side of the trailer. I'll show you that when we get over there. As you can see, there's one of the jacks right there. Then you have a landing gear up there. So you're pre-wired for a backup camera, and you got a pre-hookup for a Lippert telescoping ladder, which would be a good thing to have when it comes to inspecting the roof. The manufacturer states every 90 days the roof should be inspected, which is important. You want to check for any separation at any of the sealant where water could get through. You want to look for any damage caused by, low branches or road debris, things like that. So odds are you won't have to do anything for years and years to your roof, but you just never know. That's why you got to take a look at it. So that's important. You have a 50 amp shore cord, and we give you a reducer to reduce it down to a 30. Okay. Coming around past your off-door slide room. Okay. And then your valves and your hookups. Here we have your water docking here. So you have a quick connect here for a sprayer. And then you have 3 valves to operate the water system, and then you have 5 configurations for these 3 valves. And you can see the most common one is in the center here. It's called city water. So on that one, you're going to hook your city water hose right to here, of course. Then you'll put the excuse me, the valves into this position here, and everything, you're just basically going to turn on the city water, and all the plumbing is going to work as normal. If you're camping someplace that doesn't have city water hookup, you can put the valves into this configuration here with the hose on here, and you can power fill your tank. So you can fill your fresh water tank. Then when you get to the campground, you can put the valves in this position here, turn on your water pump, and you can pump the water out of your fresh water tank, and all the plumbing will work as though you have city water. You'll just be pumping it from the tank, of course. And right now it's in winterized mode because it's winter, and so on and so forth. This is your black tank flush here. When you're going to flush your black tank, like it says on the sticker here, always make sure the black tank flush valve is in the open position before you turn the water on. You want to open it first so too much pressure doesn't build up, okay? These are your low point drains here. This is hookup for cable and satellite. Okay. It's the other side of your pass-through here. As you can see, your other tank. This is your leveling system here. So the most common, what you have to remember, there's the 2 most common commands you're going to give it is auto level. So basically, auto level is the position, or what you're going to do after you unhook your tow vehicle and pull it out from underneath. You'll come back, then you'll push auto level, and it'll level the trailer. The other one you're going to use is the one that's called let me get this right here. It's going to be last hitch height. And basically what that does is puts the trailer into the last position it was at before you auto leveled. It always remembers the last position. So keep that in mind. That would be what you do next. We can talk more about it when you pick up. But it's there are other functions you can operate these all independently of each other. The jacks, I mean, you can retract. If it says there's one of the commands that says retract all, which you can do, but it's going to make the trailer nosedive. So you have to be careful. You have got nothing under the front of it when you do that. So keep that in mind. Let me see it actually has the directions right here too, which help a lot. But like I said, just keep in mind that auto level and auto hitch height are the two most important commands. You can't go wrong with them. Okay. Ouch. Just whacked my head here. First time today. Okay. So your battery box, obviously, you have your kill switch for the battery here. This is the switch for your solar controller, for your solar panel. I talked to you a minute ago about the coiled sprayer. This is it right here. That's your dump hose. Now your solar panel system does not have a monitor panel. You use your phone for a monitor panel, so you have to download this app, Victron Energy app, from either the Apple Store or the Google Play, whichever system you use. And you download it, then you'll look at it, you'll open it up, and it'll display your solar controller, right? And so you'll highlight it, and it'll get to a point where it asks you to log on, and it'll tell you something like if you put in 6 zeros, you'll be able to log on. But that used to happen, but it doesn't really work anymore. What you have to do to get your password is you'll come over here with your camera and just take a picture of that tag, and you'll see the PIN number at the very bottom. It's a 6-digit number, and then you write that down and put it in your wallet or whatever, and then you'll use that 6-digit number to log on to your system, and then it'll come up on your phone, and first thing you're going to do is look in the upper right hand corner, and there's going to be probably a red dot. I think it's red, but there'll be a dot, and it's telling you there's an update available. So you always want to keep it up to date, so you go ahead and update it, and it tells you everything you need to know, and a lot of stuff you don't need to know. It gives you a lot of information, so it's a good system. So that's Victron Energy app, and you'll be all set. Alrighty, and this is a pre-wire. This is a pre-wire for your if you wanted to add a tire monitor system. It's pre-wired for that. That's what this is right here. This cover would come off and the system would plug onto there. So that's what that is. Excuse me if you're interested. Okay, so let's go inside. Okay, so now here we are inside. We'll come over to here, get some light in here. Okay, that's good. So first thing we'll see, we'll start here. This is the power converter right here. This is this trailer will do two different things. When it comes to the power, it'll convert power and it'll invert power. This is the converter. All trailers have one of these. So what it does is converts AC to DC power. So when you're plugged into shore power, you'll have 120 AC at these circuit breakers. The circuit breakers are all labeled. So that'll be the distribution panel for your AC power. Then the power will be converted to 12 volt DC over here. And as you can see, you got 12 volt DC fuses, and they're all labeled. And that's the distribution center for your DC power, right? It's also a battery tender, so it'll sense how much energy your battery up front has and needs. And when you're plugged into shore power, it'll keep your battery charged for you. So it's called a power converter, and it's your AC power distribution box. It's also your DC power distribution. It's an AC to DC converter and a battery charger. Okay, all in one. So you have that. Now when you're pulling down the road, of course, your tow vehicle's alternator will be charging your battery. And when you're just outside in the sunlight, your solar panel will be charging the battery as it can, depending on the conditions outside. This is your inverter, okay? So keep in mind that you'll have to read up on it a bit. And like this warning says, it's equipped with a inverter / charger, and disconnect all AC and DC power to the inverter before performing any service. It's telling you don't electrocute yourself with this thing. Be very careful, okay? And this is doing the exact opposite of the converter. This is taking DC, 12 volt DC, and inverting it to 120 AC. It's going backwards, right? The reason you would want that is if you have any AC appliances, small appliances that you want to run off the battery, it'll allow you to do that. So you can't run the air conditioner or a microwave because that just takes too much power, but smaller appliances, for example, a blender, coffee pot, things like that, no problem at all. You have one battery up front. You can add a second battery if you want. Just make sure when it's put in, it's wired to just double the storage capacity. You still want 12 volts, but you just want to double the storage. Never wire it so it doubles the voltage to 24 DC, right? You want to keep 12 volt DC, just double the storage. So you can, what I'm saying is, if you have an inverter and a solar panel, it's good to have extra battery storage. So you always have that option, okay? That really about covers it. You can read up more about this because there's obviously more to learn about the solar controller, which I showed you up front. You can learn a lot through the app, but you can also look at their website and see what else they've got to tell you. Okay, this is obviously the thermostat. It's very simple. You just push it until, in this case, you want mode to start flashing right there. So you go off, cool, heat, and I'll click it. It's trying to give me 85, which I don't want, so I'll back it down to 68, and I'll push it to set it. So now we're getting the furnace heat and it's set to 68. You can pick whatever mode you want, obviously. Very simple. This is a controller for your power vents on your power vent, I should say, up here. It controls the vent cover plus the fan motor. Everything it does can be controlled from that little remote there. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay. Okay, so you have your slide rooms here, 3 slide rooms in and out, no problem. You have awnings, both awnings in and out. They're power awnings, like I said. Never leave the awnings out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campground, make sure you roll them in, because they can get damaged very quickly if the weather changes and you get some wind and rain. So keep that in mind. Then you have all your levels, of course. You can check here, freshwater, battery, black. You only have one black tank for this one because there's only one toilet, so you don't have 2 or second black tank, for example. So that's all pretty much self-evident. The pump here is the water pump. We talked about using the water pump to pump water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have city water. We talked about that outside. You also use the water pump to winterize the trailer. So there you have it. Let me see what else here. I don't want to forget anything important. I think that pretty much does it. Yes? Okay. All right, so let's go this way. First of all, your keys are hanging here. They give you some extra touch-up paint. You have a pantry here. Upstairs. Pantry. Okay, your refrigerator. Always travel with this component, this lock screwed into here. Otherwise, the doors will eventually bounce open and get dinged on something. If you hit the bump the right way, at the right speed, that sort of thing. Make sure you keep that. If you're going to be traveling, you want that lock in place there, okay? Storage is all pretty much self-evident. You have a wastebasket, pull-out wastebasket thing here. This is your packet with your literature in it for all your components. You have your main television remote and your fireplace remote here. Okay. The microwave. Whoops, I'm sorry. I almost dropped it there. The microwave works like any other microwave. I know the plate's not there. I'll look around for it. It's in here somewhere. But it also has an outside vent and a light on it, so you can use the vent too if you're cooking, so it can vent the range. Always, when you're traveling, you're always going to take this down and put it in its down position, but never put it down obviously when the burners are hot. So make sure it cools down before you close it. Let's see, I don't know if he's got the gas turned on or not. Let me see what we got here. This is the sparker here. If it doesn't light, I'll just talk you through it rather than go back out. So, alright, so you have 3 burners here, and then this one is for the oven. Then you have an ambient light here, and then an oven light down there. And like I said, the sparker, let me see what happens here. Well, yeah, it's not responding. So it must be doesn't have the tanks on, because I don't hear the, I think I did when I was messing with the furnace, I clicked it on, but it's definitely not running, so that's what the situation is. So keep in mind with the, when it comes to the oven, there's a pilot light at the bottom all the way to the back, and when you light this, you're going to go to the picture of the pilot light and you depress it. You keep it depressed while you're lighting it. Once it lights, once you see the pilot light light, you hold it in for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. And once you do that, you can go to operating temperature and it'll cycle on and off as an oven does. But when you shut it off, obviously the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the oven each time you use the pilot light, okay? Alright. Alrighty, what else do we have? Of course, the TV does swing out. Yeah, it has a, let me look, yeah, swing out bracket, so you can swing it out. This is your Bluetooth here. So you can stream from your phone or tablet or whatever you have. And then, of course, the fireplace we talked about, which is a space heater. It's really kicking out the heat right now because I put the fan on high. But basically, if you go to the, let's see, I know we don't have the best light here. If you go to this one here, now I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can, but it says 00 in there. But you can go to, next one is low. Push again, it's on high now. Now it's really kicking out the heat. So it's a really good space heater. You can change the intensity of the fire. You can, and there's a timer on board also, so you can set the timer to turn on and turn off when you want it to, okay? So that's the fireplace. Okay, let me see what else we have here. Your stools, he's got them tied up right now out of the way. But this is a hide of bed, so the back cushions come off. You set them aside, then you're going to grab it down here, you let it fold it out, drop the legs, drop the back panel, and you got a 3-panel hide of bed. You have feeder seats here. You have the ripcord here, and phone charger, some storage. Okay. You have a leaf that comes up here, an extension, I guess you would say, and a desk with storage. It's going to have you, this you're going to have to strap. It gives you hooks here, so I bet you want to put it right here. You're going to strap the chair. You can't strap them so they don't move, but you just don't want it flying around when you're going down the road. You don't want it to be able to bounce up and break a window or something, so you're just going to strap it down as best you can. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector here. It should always be glowing green like it is. If it's not, get it serviced. It's obviously very important. So if it's not glowing green, then you want to get it checked out or replaced, whatever they have to do, of course. Alrighty. Let's see what else we have here. Okay. GFCI. All the plugs, all the receptacles, even the one on the outside, are wired through a GFCI. And this is it. There's probably 2 of them in this trailer. So if you're using a receptacle outside and it stops working, obviously the first thing you think is GFCI. You're going to come in here and reset it or look around. Anytime you have issues with receptacles, that's the first thing you're going to think, GFCI. So here's one of them here. We'll look for the other one. It also says inverted outlet. Remember I told you you can invert the 12 volt DC from the battery, invert it to 120 AC, and then run a small appliance. Well, this is one of the outlets that's wired to run the appliance on from the inverter. Okay. This is your. We got antifreeze in the system, so I'll just have to talk you through it here. This is your on-demand water heater controller here. So basically this just changes from Celsius to Fahrenheit. That's on and off obviously. And this sets your temperature up and down. I think it defaults to 120. So when you turn it on, it's going to basically tell you 120 or whatever you got set at. You can change it to 115 for example if you want to. As soon as you turn on the hot water, any hot water, this space here will light up and you'll see a picture of a flame igniting and it'll be a wheel turning, and then you'll see the numbers go up very quickly to 120, and you're going to get basically non-stop stream of hot water at that point. Now outside, I don't know if I even showed you the heater outside, but there's nothing to see except for there is a rocker switch. That is the master switch for it. That's why this isn't working. The master switch is turned off because there's antifreeze in the system. We're not going to heat up the antifreeze, obviously. So you want to turn on the master switch out there before you use this. One other thing to remember is it has a safety in here, and it will not run. The burner will not ignite unless it senses water. So one of 2 conditions has to be right. You either have to have the city water hooked up with the valve turned on, ready to go. It'll sense the water and it'll allow the burner to ignite. If you don't have that, you have to have water and the fresh water tank, and your water pump has to be turned on. And so it can sense that and know it's okay to turn on the gas burner. It's just protecting itself. So if it's ever not working, make sure you check the master switch outside, of course. And if that doesn't work, make sure that you've got water. And it can sense the water, so it'll allow the burner to ignite. So okay, when it comes to the toilet, it works like any other RV toilet. They're all the same. It sits right over a black tank, and it has a flush pedal right down there. You put a dose of chemical in there, stand on the flush pedal, put at least a gallon of water in the tank below along with the chemical. Most people use more than a gallon. Just don't use less than a gallon, and that's it. You never use it dry, or it'll be clogged up and it'll be a real mess. You want to always start off with a dose of chemical and at least a gallon of water. And of course your shower is pretty self-evident. Alrighty. Your TV hookups here. And there's it says right here, there's a backer plate here, so you can screw a bracket for a TV there. Emergency escape window. Let me get the lights on in here, hold on. Okay. And we're pre-plumbed and wired for a washer dryer. You can put a stackable in here, washer dryer, stackable or a combo, whichever one you prefer. Most people like to stack because it's faster and it's more efficient. So, and then these are your chairs here. You have 2 extra chairs, and there's actually a kind of a desk here too. But you have these also. Always, when you're traveling, always make sure anytime there's a sliding door, it's latched. In whatever way they give you the latch, it always latches so they can't just swing around and get damaged. So keep that in mind. This is something to know if you're interested. You see that blue sticker? Then there's a code to scan. That has to do. It says on there. It talks about Wi-Fi, but what most people are interested in is the public Wi-Fi booster that you can get. So if you're interested, you can look at their. You can scan that and go to their website and look at their different options. Basically, there's a port where you can hook up an antenna on the roof right above that, and where this thing is, you can hook a router box. It's like a 10 inches square maybe, and so basically it gives your family better public Wi-Fi. It's a signal booster, so you've got the antenna in it, and you get a boost on your public Wi-Fi, and then you have all your family's phones will attach to the router in here, and so you have it's a better system if you use a lot of Wi-Fi, which I guess everybody does. So if you're interested, that's what that's for. It's a pre-wire for that, so you can take a look at it. And of course, this one here is for your front Coleman AC. Alrighty, I think I've about got it here. I made it through without coughing once, so I'm in good shape here. All right. Yes, that does it. So, okay, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please keep in mind that you want to inspect your roof every 90 days or so, like I stated earlier. Just look for any kind of problems. You don't know, you can't see what's happening up there unless you look. Keep in mind also that this is winterized. There's no water in the system. It's all antifreeze, so it's still set for the winter time. When you're getting ready to use it, when you de-winterize it and put water in the system, you gotta turn the switch that's on the on-demand water heater on before it'll work, so you have to make sure you turn it on. Excuse me. I think I walked right past it earlier, so I have to go back here. This is it right here. So this is the master switch here. So you want to turn that on when you're going to be using it. When you've got it in storage, you're not camping, you can shut it off, obviously. So, okay. And that's your safety valve, pressure valve. So you don't want to ever pull on that when there's hot water in it, because obviously it'll come spraying out of there and you could scald somebody. So be very careful with kids around that. Okay. And as I stated, we're winterized, so we're set there, and inspect your roof regularly, and any other issue you have, you can call and talk to us, and we can talk you through it. When you come to pick up, obviously, we'll answer any questions you have, and make sure you understand everything and are comfortable with it. Okay? Thank you very much.